All right, as we're becoming better and better traders, we get to the point where we're doing mistakes less and less. And sometimes you think you got it all figured out, and you realize one day, hey, I still actually do a little bit of revenge trading. And that's what happened to me yesterday. And I didn't really think the day through and got involved in some trades that ended up being bad. So purging all that out does take time. And today I want to talk about the day because I want to really understand the day chart in terms of, should I be trading today? Everybody's got their own style of trading. I 100% think that it's important to develop your own style of trading. For my style of trading, I really like to go long or short when I can look at the day chart and I can see that everything is clearly bullish or bearish. And when it's stuck in the middle, when things are in the middle, it's really difficult to figure that out. Then I don't really want to be trading so much. So for instance, right here, I'll just start with this area right here. I want to make sure I understand what I'm talking about here. This is bearish. Price is below all three moving averages, the 8, the 20, and the 50. It doesn't have to be below the 200, but when it's on this side of the three moving averages, I'm short. When it's on this side of the moving averages, I'm long, and that's as simple as it gets. Now the problem is what happens when it falls in between. I think my rule basically is, as long as the moving averages have not crossed yet, I'm still looking for a bounce on those days. And of course, there's going to be tricky days that get you, and you're going to have losses, and you can't avoid losses, and that's just the way it is. Losses are reality. We're trying to minimize the losses is our goal. For instance, this day up here that was pulling into a good zone to buy, this red candle right here. I mean, I can't go back and look at the intraday. Maybe it did have some good quality bounces that would have been profitable, but it ended at the low of the day, and it may not have even done any kind of bouncing on that day. And those are the kind of days where you got to be careful. If the day chart's telling me bullish and we have a reversal day like that was, and you get these days right here where that's starting to break out and it just reverses, that's why we have the $250 limit. That's why we have our stop losses. That's why we get out. Hey, this thing reversed on me. I'd rather lose, though, honestly. I'd rather lose on a sudden, unexpected reversal day that catches people by surprise and hits your stop loss. That's just normal, expected kind of attrition of trading, than to take a trade when the day chart is telling me be careful. For instance, this area right here was very, very tricky. It is below two of the moving averages, but above one. So it's in the middle here. And that's very, very tricky. And there's things we can come up for those trading kind of situations. But my A plus setups, I'm talking about my A plus setups here. My A plus setups are when all price is above all the moving averages for long, or below all the moving averages, like this case over here. What a beautiful shorting moment that was. And that doesn't mean it's going to work. You could have it could reverse on you. Just because it's a beautiful A plus setup doesn't mean it's going to work. But I'd rather lose on an A plus setup. I got to get this into my mind when I watch this video. I have to understand that if I lose, I want to lose on an A plus setup. So having said all that, now I want to go back and look at what happened yesterday, because I had probably my largest losing day yesterday. So disappointed about that. Let me quickly look at that and go over that so I can really, really meditate on what happened. Well, I might as well go over this area in general. Again, right here in the middle was very, very tricky. Once it started breaking below all three moving averages, you kind of want to go short. Now, just because price is under all three moving averages, you got to ask yourself, has the moving averages crossed one another? And they didn't. And so what happened on this day that it was dropping right here? Well, it reversed and went right back up. And that can be expected because the moving averages are expanding up and they haven't crossed each other yet. So we have a deep pullback with all the moving averages going up. And so that's likely to have a bounce. So we had this bounce on this day right here, and that's to be expected. But now we have a crossover, and we have lower highs being created, okay? And we have a lower low right here. And so it's actually trending this way now. So that's a different situation than trending up and the moving averages have not crossed. And I didn't take that into consideration. And on that day right there, let's go a little closer because I'm still very, very kind of upset that it happened, but I think I'm getting it out of my system. Here we go with a not realizing that it's trending down, and the crossover had taken place, and price just came from a good sell opportunity into a good buy opportunity because it went above the moving averages. It was below the moving averages, above the moving averages, and then it had dropped down here below the moving averages, but really right on the 50. And it was above, below, above, below, above, below, and that's just so tricky. And not one time did I short it, which I could have used the trend line break strategy that I, after analyzing the day, would have worked beautifully. If I would have tried to short it because it's below the moving averages. When it was below, down in this area here, it was below all those moving averages, right? And then without talking about trend line support, we're just going with moving averages right now to kind of figure it out. This day ended up being one of my largest losing days, over 500. I didn't want to lose more than 500. It was almost 600, and very few winning trades on scalping. And I revenge trade, and I got in a trade. The very first trade I probably shouldn't have taken, but after that loss, I should have stopped and reevaluated. What the heck am I doing? Take another look at the day chart. Take another look at the day chart. Should I have been in that trade? And turns out I shouldn't have. Not long anyway. And what did I end up doing? I just jumped right back in it immediately because some lower time chart looked a little bullish to me. Right, and that's all I did is look at a lower time chart. Hey, this is looking bullish. This has got to be the bounce. Jumped in it, and sure enough, it wasn't. I hit two big losses and just a lot of little losses, and I just kept on trading, and got myself into trouble. And I didn't even. At one point, I did shut off the computer. And that was the smartest thing that I had done, other than after making those two mistakes of getting in a trade that I shouldn't have been in. Re-entering a trade based on, now I look back, it was revenge trading. When I hit two losses and I was almost at, I think it was at $480, just under the $500 max, I shut the computer off. But that was the smartest thing I did yesterday. But then I turned it back on and thought I could keep trading on this particular day, and it just kept chewing me up. And that's why I'm frustrated. I'm not frustrated because I lost. I'm not frustrated because I took a couple of trades and then I learned. I went back and studied, and I said I shouldn't have been in them. I got that now. I'm not mad. I even turned off the computer. I'm not mad about that process. I'm mad because I turned it back on. And so this has to stop. This is the last, this should be the last time I go through that, because I really, really have drilled some of these problems down to elimination, and this is one that obviously was still lurking around. I didn't even realize it. You know, we've been doing really, really good on this bull run to the market, and I was doing really, really good, up a couple $1,000 in this particular strategy, up a couple $1,000 in these haven't got payouts yet, but then I lost, almost about $600 yesterday. And you really, really slapped me down and humbled me and made me realize the market's not always going to be doing what you want it to do. And you have to have strategies and plans to sit on your hands and do nothing. Part of the strategy, part of the plan needs to be a no trade strategy, a no trade. And today I'm either going to short this thing because it's below all the moving averages, or I'm going to not take a trade. All right. So that's where I'm at with it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.